Hello YouTube and welcome to the channel. We're going to do Dead by Daylight videos and reacts. Today we're going to start the channel off with a react to one of Vhsx's new videos. New-ish. When did this come out? A month ago. So it's new-ish. But we're going to be reacting to this today. So let's get stuck in.
Vhsx? What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be doing a reaction discussion video that was recommended by one of you guys in the Discord community. So if you want to go ahead and suggest videos to be discussed, you can go ahead and join the Discord community and go ahead and scroll down the rules and hit the knife emoji to speak with the rest of us about different topics, whether it be films, novels, TV shows, DVD, whatever you want to discuss. And it is linked in the description. So, I'm going to be talking about a video from Why Fight titled "And Dash Fast Too Bad: The Death of M1 Killers." Now, as you know, I've actually discussed this topic, I think, ad nauseum at this point when it comes down to it. Spoken about this topic constantly throughout every single discussion when it comes to balancing, to updates. I'm usually going to be the first person that always mentions how this pretty much, it does not affect the M1 Killers either positively or at all. In some cases, it actually affects the M1 Killer experience negatively, so that usually happens quite a bit.
Yeah, I have to absolutely agree. A lot of these changes they've done to help M1 killers, in the long run, generally it just hurts them more than anything, and then it just helps the higher tier killers. And and then people just complain more about killer being OP, and then you have Ghostface players like me and Vhsx here who just have to deal with the worst shit all the time. Let's continue.
About half the roster is unusable. With in consideration to the gen meta that
Yeah, some might argue that it's more than half the roster.
we're in right now. And this touches on a lot of things. One of the main things that I have also discussed previously was the fact that pain resonance is definitely one of the worst slowdowns to run on an M1 killer. Despite the fact that it's a common misconception, because we understand that it is considered like the strongest slowdown in the game, so it makes sense. Weak killer, strong perk, you know what I mean? It makes like logical sense. You want to give them something strong. The problem is that the way that the perk functions, you're going to get diminishing returns, or you're just not going to end up getting anything valuable from it. And I've covered that in a previous video that is on the channel. I can link that at the end. But we're going to be talking specifically about what
Hot take. I actually think Pain Resonance is a dog shit perk. Now, its effect is very good. But, I mean, even on good killers who can get the value out of it and make it to the hook consistently, or, well, try to at least, you're still at the whim of RNG. And, like, I mean, just for instance, tonight, I had Scourge hooks on Pyramid Head, and most of them spawned on literally the worst part of the map. Like, I just didn't need to go to that part of the map at all the entire match. And then there was one in the place that I was, but generally wasn't the best hook to use. And then, on M1 killers, they're just fucking useless in general. But I mean, you get way more consistent value out of a perk like Pop Goes the Weasel than you ever will out of Pain Res. And then if you use something like Nowhere to Hide with Pop, you can get a lot of value just finding people hiding around trying to rat and do the gens.
fight is kind of discussing, which I figure I'm going to probably end up agreeing with it anyway. I've already discussed this topic before.
Use those stacks, use those tokens. In 30 seconds, Dead Man Switch used to be 50. 30 seconds? 30 seconds is nothing. Not when survivors can get gens done in 17 seconds. Less than that. Stakeout, hyper focus, built to last, toolbox, brand new part. I mean,
The funny part is that this is actually true. You know, there are people that adamantly will deny and say that this is not common. Like, hyperfocus is somehow only 3% out of all matches, and that's not something you're gonna face all the time, or that's impossible. These gens are not getting done in that span.
I mean, I only played like a few matches of Killer today, and granted, the Pig and Pyramid Head and Billy and stuff, like, those weren't exactly great teams. I'm just not great at those killers and don't really ever play them. But on my Ghostface games, like, I mean, the very first one was just a team of hackers, which was kind of wild. Game was over in like 2 minutes. They were doing things there was no possible way they could have done. They were using exhaustion perks that they didn't have. And then one of them was running Stakeout Hyper Focus, and then I had at least one or two other games where somebody's running Stakeout Hyper Focus. So it's quite common, especially these days.
Time, but they are. We have video evidence of these things. Like, these are things that actually occurred. These are things that actually happened. Like, we have video of this occurring. You know what I mean? And the fact that it can be done, I think, is a big sort of statement of where the game is really heading. And it's kind of insane to deny that, like, you know, literal reality, but that is something that the DVD community is very keen on doing. They tend to do that a lot. You know, you even around the Fog Vials situation, we had numerous videos showing evidence and proving, like, this item is a little overtuned. Like, this is kind of ridiculous. We cannot see anybody. People are breaking off chase for the sheer fact that you can't hear or see anything, and you can't see scratch marks, so you're just, all forms of information are being stripped away from the chase. So, of course, they reasonably reduced its strength, because, of course, like, that's completely ridiculous. Is one of the perfect examples of that, and there's still people to this day that still believe that the Fog Vials are fine on release, or that they gotta bring them back. Like, no, they don't. And I guess it could be just like blatant ignorance. I don't know if, like, that's just what it could be. Maybe they're just, like, genuinely just like idiotic. I don't know, right? I can't speak for these people. But the fact of the matter is that the evidence is there in a lot of situations, and the thing is that when you try to discuss these things with people that have this mindset that survivors are being victimized and survivors are somehow never receiving any positive change whatsoever, when presented with logic and evidence, they will just say that you're wrong and never provide their own evidence, never provide anything to refute that.
I totally agree. He is he's on point here, like dead on. And the funniest part about it is like, even with all this evidence, video evidence, and just stats in general, like, they never actually have a good argument. And there are things on Survivor that need to be fixed. Like, I mean, fucking getting hit 4 or 5 feet outside of a window, that shouldn't be happening. Like, that straight up just shouldn't be happening. And I mean, like, there's times where I'm playing Killer and I get a hit, and I have to kind of just slow turn and look at how egregious it was. Like, and sometimes I'll just leave dude on the ground and let them get picked up because I thought that hit was bullshit. And it just doesn't feel great not being able to continue playing the game when you should have just gotten away. Like, it feels like shit, and it feels like shit on both sides. And don't get me wrong, I think Killer deals with this kind of stuff a lot more often, getting stuck on invisible walls, auto aim, just rolling you directly into a fucking wall or a window or whatever you're not trying to swing at, essentially. Like, it'll just pull you into a wall while you're trying to turn a corner or something. Excuse me. Let's continue.
Taste our world. Celestial Seasonings Tea.
You, just you, building your app on Base 44.
So like there's no way to convince them otherwise. Like there just really isn't. And when it comes down to behavior, they're more focused on obviously, getting money for their game. So they're going to cater to those particular people because those are the most vocal, those are the most, like, they're the most plentiful, they're the most echo chamber, right? So then you'll, like, chambery, I guess you could say. They spend time going around and farting in each other's faces to convey this sort of concept that somehow Survivor is still weak, even though they've received numerous buff after buff in every patch, to perks and other mechanics that never needed to change anyway. And we are still feeling those effects even now, even with the Stranger Things update. We got additional perks that increase more gen speed, which, as if we didn't need that already. And that is a bit of a problem. I'm surprised they never added anything for gen speed stacking. Ironically enough, they tried to go after haste at one point. They want to remove haste stacking somehow, but yet they can have heal speed stacking and gen speed stacking, and there's no mechanic in place for that, never a PTB for that. There was never even a question if that was ever going to get touched, but for some reason haste was on the chopping block first. I don't know how that makes any sense. I don't understand it, but here we are. But let's continue.
This is embarrassing. It really is. Think of it from a new player's perspective. DVD's on sale. Let's say you buy the game for, I don't know, $5, right? And then let's say, oh, you see Ghostface is in the game. That's pretty cool. I like Ghostface. You buy Ghostface. You get into your first game, no perks.
Which I want to preface really quickly. I always do this every time that Ghostface comes up in conversation or any topic, because people still to this day believe that the Ghostface we have in the game for some reason is from the movies. I don't know if, like, I still don't get it. I'm like, I don't know if, like, they need to get, like, put on some, maybe they gotta, like, go to the eye doctor or something, because, like, the character that looks nothing like the movie in the first place. So I don't know what movie they saw, you know what I'm saying? But regardless, it's the only license they have is for the mask. Okay, so Fun World's mask that you can buy at the Halloween stores. That's the only license they have. They don't have anything to do with Scream. It has nothing to do with it.
Fun fact is Scream also has the license for the mask, which is how they use it. And that's actually where DBD got the idea, or I'm guessing Matthew Cote, because he's the one who deals with that stuff. So he was looking into Scream, clearly, because he wanted Ghostface, and he must have talked to somebody who told him, like, oh, well, we just have the license for the mask, and you could still get it from these guys. And that's what I'm assuming happened, but, like, in the long and skinny of it, that's kind of what happened.
I just want to make that abundantly clear. And it's still crazy to this day. We still hear that. It's like, oh yeah, it Scream's in the game. Like, no, he's not. Like no, they're not. I mean, they're not. No, the movie's not in there. Stop it.
Maybe some add-ons. Maybe you're running one of Ghostface's unique perks. You get slammed. I mean, we're talking fist in the booty all the way up to the maximum. And what do you do after that? You probably uninstall the game, request a refund, and call it a day. I mean, it's just a joke at this point. And, you know, I've made videos about the same.
Yeah, I do kind of understand where Wi-Fi is coming from. And I mean, I've covered this topic previously. You already understand. I understand that even, you know, the example is not the most varied, I would say, in terms of, like, context or anything else like that, of course. I can't really, you know, agree or disagree or even try to support or be against, you know, it directly. But I understand, like, the core message behind that. Like, a new player is loading up the game and they already don't know what's going on, and then they pick a character that they would like, right? Like, you know, which is, like, in this case, it's going to be Ghostface, right? Because it represents, you know, something that they like. And they go to play the character, and then they're completely steamrolled. And then, of course, they're just not really having a good time because of it, and then they request a refund, and then they don't play again. Um,
I've actually tested something like this. So my brother has the game on a few different platforms, and he never really plays it. Like he played it a few times a long, long time ago before MMR was even a thing. Actually, before the maps were even reverted, or not reverted, but updated. Um, and I hopped on his account, or one of his accounts that had just never been played on before, and I played with a controller because I'm a mouse and keyboard player, and playing with a controller was weird, and I had to like relearn the game in a way. Like of course, I still had all my knowledge, but the controls I had a hard time with. And playing as like a new player, just like in the knowledge I have, I mean, you could just watch YouTube for the most part. Other than that, like being able to tell subtle speed hacks and shit is just I have like 3 point something K hours in this game. I've just been playing this game for a really long time. But I played on his account, and I was playing on a controller, and I was still taking it easy on people just to kind of like pad out the MMR and see what would happen to like an actual new player. I'd like, you know, lose a match, win a match or two, lose a match, win a match or two, and like the speed that I started facing, like I'm talking like 10k hour players, 10k hour players with like a full P100 squads in the lobby against my Prestige 3 Trapper account has played a grand total of like maybe 8 games. So yeah, new players are really, like, really fucking feeling it for the past God knows how long, probably since MMR dropped.
and that covers a couple different pillars of the issues with the game, right? So one obviously is being that it's a very steep amount of information to try to even dive into. Like, how do you even begin to get into that for new players? Number one. Secondly, the character is a weak character. And of
Yeah.
course, with the current meta, where the gens are getting done in 30 seconds, 17 seconds, like it's like, how are they going to be able to learn these things? Because we've got to keep in mind, like I've even heard people talk about the matchmaking. Sometimes the matchmaking is crazy, where you're going against like extremely experienced people when you have very low hours. And then let's say in the perfect scenario, somebody does buy the game on sale, tries it out, buys the character, for example, goes against that team, and then goes, I don't like this game, and proceeds to refund it, right? For different factors. And keep in mind, this is the same game that gets all these crazy licenses, and yet all of those characters are completely low tier trash, meaning that you're not really even being able to hold your own. And then meaning, of course, on top of the game balancing, it's not in a good spot. Like a lot of people that are like trying to load up with these characters are going to have a hard time. And it's sad because people buy the game and to try to experience it because that's their favorite movie license, right? Like that's their favorite character. Even speaking for myself, that's where I started. I saw the characters in the store and I was like, man, that would be really cool to play. Like I could play Freddy, I could play Myers, like I could play Ghostface and stuff like that. That'd be really interesting.
Yeah, that's actually what got me into Dead by Daylight. I played it when it like came out on PSN for free, and I played like one or two survivor matches with my cousin who told me to download it. And then I wanted to play Killer. Killer's what like really called to me, and I tried a game of Trapper and a game of Ability, and it felt awful. And when I say awful, I mean awful. Like the game didn't even have there weren't very many characters, and I'm pretty sure Michael Myers was not in it yet. And I think it was like 2019, yeah, late 2019. I was talking to my cousin, and he said it was on sale and that Ghostface was in it, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm buying it. and I fell in love with it immediately. And nowadays I just kind of hate it, which sucks. But Ghostface is my boy, and I have a lot of fun just running around stalking people sometimes. But I don't really have the time anymore. Like you get a 99 or two, and boom, game's done. It feels like. But we're gonna leave it off there. If you want to go finish the video, I'll leave the link in the description below, and I'll also link Why Fights video down in the description below. You all have a wonderful night. Let me know what you think about the survivor to killer disparity, or even the S tier killer to low tier killer disparity. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Uh, I've been Calamity, and I'll see you in the comments.